So in order to complete this assignment, you guys should have picked 10 specimens. Okay? All the 10 specimens should be written right here. If they're living specimens, then they should have pluses all the way down, like your lab partner. A snake should be all the way down. If it is a dead, like the dead duck, that's a dead specimen, right, which is different than non-living, then some of the things might have pluses. For instance, that dead duck is still organized. It has pluses. You might probably still find some DNA, so you'd have a plus in where it says genetic material, but it's definitely not growing. It's not evolving. A plus where it says dead because it has died. It's a minus because it's not responding to stimuli, so on and so forth. An iPhone, as you guys just saw in the warm-up, right, it's going to not have a metabolism. It's not going to reproduce, but it responds to stimuli. It doesn't have cells. It does maintain homeostasis because it turns itself off. It's definitely highly organized. It doesn't have any genetic material. It doesn't really grow or get larger unless you consider adding apps to its growth. It definitely evolves if you consider all the updates as evolution, and it dies when the phone dies. So that's how you would answer that. The second page of this is taking what you put in the very first page and writing 2 sentences. So for instance, spiders. Let's say a spider was one of your specimen. If you put a spider right here, spiders have metabolism, spiders reproduce, spiders respond to stimuli. So you're going to put pluses all the way down here. So one of the things that you're going to have a sentence about is spiders reproduce and make babies. So this is an inference that is drawn from information that you have about spiders. You're just going to turn your plus or minus into a sentence. And you have all of these characteristics to choose from. You're only going to select 2. All right? So you should have all of your 10 specimens written down here with 2 sentences each. What are all the traits common to living things? These are all the traits common to living things. What are all the traits common to all living things? The only thing that's common to all non-living things is that they don't contain all of the traits that living things have. There's not necessarily one thing that all non-living things have in common, but what we do know is what makes them non-living is that they don't have every single one of the living characteristics of life. Why can it be difficult to observe all the traits? A couple answers to that. It's kind of difficult to observe metabolism because it's hard to see the chemical reactions that go on inside of cells. It might be hard to observe cells unless you have the proper tools like microscopes. If I'm looking at a plant in front of me, I know that it grows, but I can't really see that it's growing unless I have some sort of time lapse that fast forwards over time. So some of these traits are harder to observe than others. And then lastly, guys, the conclusion questions. Which specimens were alive? It depends. The living things were the ones that were like you or the snake, or your lab partner, if there was a plant in the room. The specimens that were dead are the ones that were alive at one point and now are dead. I have this dead bamboo plant over here. I have the dead duck. I have a spider that's in a little specimen case up there that used to be alive but now is dead. Specimens that are non-living are things that were never alive to begin with. For instance, a table, a pencil, an eraser, the fan, a computer. Even though tables are made up of wood, which were trees at one point, the table itself was never walking around alive. And then list 5 living and non-living things in your environment around Pali High. All those things are going to vary. So that's how you complete this assignment. This goes in your binder for your binder.